That is meaning we are good to go. How you doing, everyone? I'm Matt LePay. Welcome to the Badger Basketball Boosters Fall Virtual Events. We really wish we could be all doing this in person, but obviously the time is not right for that. We look forward to the day when we can all gather again at the Cole Center and be together and kind of reflect on the great times we've had through the years. But we're going to have fun here tonight. Here over the next hour, we're going to reflect back a little bit on last season and why not, a Big Ten championship season for Coach Gard and the Badgers, and we'll also get you updated on some current events as to what's going on as these guys get started. They'll be underway. The calendar says a little less than 1 month away now from the start of the 2020-2021 basketball season. But before we get to this season, we do want to revisit last year and what an incredible year it was. The 19th Big Ten championship season in program history and the 5th in just the last 2 decades. And I can tell you this just from my own perspective, what I witnessed from this team last year, it was as impressive as anything that I've seen in my 30-plus years of being connected with Wisconsin basketball. Those guys, they went through everything, as you well know, and it started well before the season even began. The things that they had to overcome before the season, during the course of the season, and it culminated with a team that was playing as well as anybody in the country. An 8-game winning streak in that period, one of the most efficient offenses in all of college basketball, and a team that without a doubt earned a share of the Big Ten championship and most certainly earned the top seed that it had going into the Big Ten tournament. It was a remarkable year in so many respects. They did it against an incredibly difficult schedule. ESPN ranked it as the 4th toughest in terms of strength of schedule. The Badgers had 17 games against Quad 1 competition. That was the most in the country. And they set a little bit of history as well along the way that part of me finds slightly insulting, but I also choose to view it as an example of the team concept that really is what Wisconsin basketball is all about. And what I'm referring to is that in the era of all Big Ten teams that have been recognized, it goes back to 1948, every year until this past season, a Big Ten champion had at least one player who made first or second team all Big Ten. I would think we could all argue that there was a player or two on this Badger team who was worthy of such recognition, but it didn't turn out that way. Not one Badger was first or second team all conference, but I think that just speaks to the all-in team concept that this program had en route to the Big Ten championship. And rather than have me ramble on about what occurred last year, which truly was a remarkable run, I'd like to bring in now and introduce to you the Big Ten Coach of the Year, Coach Greg Gard.
Hey, Matt. How we doing?
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you, Coach Gard.
You bet. You too. Hello to everybody out there watching in virtual world.
That's right. That's right. We are making it work, right? We're going to improvise and have some fun here tonight. Obviously, Coach, so much has changed in our world since you guys brought the trophy back to Madison from Bloomington, Indiana. You're capping an 8-game winning streak. We all have had a little bit of time maybe to reflect on things. Can you put last season, I don't know if it's possible to do it even within an hour, but try to give you a couple of minutes here. Can you put last season in perspective? What your guys had to endure and what it overcame to be able to win a Big Ten title?
Yeah, I think you touched on a little bit in the intro, Matt. Just, athletics are such a they're a microcosm of life a lot of times, and they're a great teacher in life. And obviously, as a coach for 30 years now, we've talked about those lessons a lot and how they apply to life after basketball. But this group probably has gone through more than any group I've ever been associated with in 30 years of coaching. And you go back to last May and Coach Moore's accident and all the events that followed that through the summer and then into last fall. But this group continued to find a way, and they continued to persevere through, they got thrown life's most adverse moments last spring. And I think anything that we encountered during the actual basketball season, failed in comparison to that. And that, you know, gave them always an anchoring point, so to speak, a touch point to come back to realize when we hit some bumps in the road that we knew how to get through them, because we had been through, you know, some of life's most difficult pains a year ago. So unbelievably proud of that group. Unfortunately, you know, we couldn't carry on after March 7th, March 8th. But for that group to, I don't know if I've ever had a group rally and become such a team as what that group did down the stretch.
I had an interesting chat with Dimitri TRICE probably a little over a month ago. And I asked him in the course of our interview, I said, Meech, when was the time that you thought the team had the chops to be able to win the Big Ten championship, or at least be right there in the very end? And when I asked the question, to be honest, Coach, I thought he might say, you know, when you guys beat Purdue at the Kohl Center, or the win at Michigan when Dimitri just had a great night. He said Iowa, which was a hard-fought game. It didn't go your way. But I actually, when he said it, it made sense, because I talked to a couple other guys. It seemed like everybody was really coming together at that time. Does his answer make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. And in large part because of how we responded, you know, to the adversity we had been through. And you know, I think to that point, you know, that was a game, and Brad ended up getting suspended after that game, you know, obviously for the next game against Michigan State. But our backs were against the wall, and you always find out what you're really made of. I think the true character of individuals and a team show when they are backed into a corner. And I felt how we played, how we responded, how we competed at Iowa. And I watched that game, you know, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, as I've made my way back through the season. And there's no doubt, I mean, we had a 12-point lead with 6 or 7 minutes to go. I felt we were the better team that night. It's one of those games that we performed well enough to win, other than you got to complete it and finish out the game. But that, we said right away in the locker room after the game, that showed us that we had a chance. If we competed like that, we played like that, we were going to win our fair share. I don't think none of us thought, and the coaching staff, we were going to be that prophetic, so to speak, that they were going to win almost all of them. The rest, they only lose one more after that. But that definitely showed us something. That showed that we had some metal to us a little bit.
Yeah, it was a remarkable run. In that 8-game winning streak, the Badgers ranked 3rd nationally in adjusted offensive efficiency. It was a top 20 team throughout the course of the season in defensive efficiency. And for those of you who are really into the metrics, and I know a lot of you are, when you're top 20 in offensive and defensive efficiency, those can be magic numbers for teams that head into the NCAA tournament. I know you were the simulated national champs, and people had fun with it, but I don't know, maybe, Coach, that's some analytical evidence of how good your guys were playing down toward the end of the season. I mean, we can have fun with it,
right? But
it's legit too, because of the way you guys were playing at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and I thought defensively we were pretty good most of the year. We grew, and I thought we got better. Offensively, obviously, we hit our stride, and you look at just how we did. You mentioned some key statistics. We led the Big Ten in scoring defense. We led the Big Ten in fewest turnovers per game. We led the Big Ten in field goal three-point percentage, three-point field goal percentage, and we also led the Big Ten in free throw percentage. So we hit on some key components, but defensively, I think we were always solid. We kind of found our level, so to speak, found who we were offensively, and that, it became that combined with what we did defensively, combined with, I think, the intangibles that we had developed, the toughness, the moxie, the kind of the guts to us. We had been challenged in so many ways mentally that once those other things came into fruition, you saw the result. We won in a lot of different ways, but we were really able to be very efficient offensively down the stretch.
Well, I know we could talk all night about what this team accomplished last year, but I also know you and your staff, your coaches, you're thinking about how to get better in tomorrow's practice than you were today. So we want to introduce this year's team, and the guys have put together their own videos. We do want to tell you a couple of the guys were not available to do that. Walt McGrory, 6'3", senior out of Minneapolis, Edina High School, wears uniform number 3. Remember, Walt, he came off the bench and was instrumental in one of those early season games against McNeese. Sometimes teams go through some bumps early in the year, some stretches where they don't not playing their best ball. WAHL had 9 points in that game and really helped kickstart the Badgers, and they went on to win convincingly. And also Lauren Bowman, number 10, 6'2" freshman out of Detroit, St. Mary's High School, one of the very best players out of the state of Michigan, and Mr. Basketball finalist a year ago, the Detroit Metro Player of the Year. Walt and Lauren not available to put together their little video, but we do obviously want to recognize those two guys here tonight. So for a couple minutes, Coach and I will step aside, and we will let the rest of the Badgers introduce themselves to you.
Aleem Ford, I'm a senior forward from Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I look forward to getting back at the Kohl Center and getting back on the floor.
What's up, everybody? I'm Untitled Chapter, senior guard from Dayton, Ohio, Huber Heights to be exact, and I'm super excited to ring chase again.
What's up, guys? Brad Davison here. I'm a senior guard from Maple Grove, Minnesota. Looking forward to our last dance.
Hey, I'm Nate REUVERS, senior big man from Lakeville, Minnesota. Looking forward to getting out there and defend our Big Ten title. Next up, we got MICAH, who was just recently engaged to the love of his life. God bless him.
What's going on? I'm Micah Potter, senior from Mentor, Ohio. And I'm looking forward to actually being able to play the entire year and repeating and getting another ring.
Hi, my name is Trevor Anderson. I'm a senior. I'm from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Next up is Carter Higginbottom, and he can't guard me.
How you guys doing? I'm Carter Higginbottom, aka Boogie, and I'm a redshirt sophomore here. And I can't wait to have another amazing season. Go Badgers!
What's up? My name is Joe HEDSTROM, redshirt sophomore center from Hopkins, Minnesota, and I'm excited to create a year of memories with my guys.
Hi, I'm Tyler WAHL, sophomore forward from Lakeville, Minnesota. Go Badgers!
My name is Ben CARLSON. I'm a freshman forward from Woodbury, Minnesota. I'm looking forward to start playing this season.
My name is Carter GILMORE. I'm a freshman forward from Heartland, Wisconsin, and I'm looking forward to my first year as a Badger.
Hi, I'm Justin TAPHORN. I'm a freshman guard from Pekin, Illinois, and I'm excited to be here for my first year.
Hey, I'm Stephen CROWL from Eagan, Minnesota. I'm a freshman forward, and I'm just excited to get started.
Hi, my name is Jordan Davis. I'm a freshman guard here, and I'm just looking for my first season here in the Badgers.
My name is Johnny Davis. I'm a freshman guard from La Crosse, Wisconsin. Go Badgers.
Your 2020, 2021 Badgers, Coach Gard, that's a good-looking group of guys. They found a way to keep fit here during the quarantine and moving forward.
Yeah, they've done a great job. They've been fun. Today was day 9 of practice, so we're well into it. Probably they want to go a little faster than I'm ready to let them go right now in terms of turning them completely loose in practice. But we've had some good runs, just slowly trying to, because it's been so obviously abnormal through spring, summer, and fall. Gradually work our way back into it. But our guys have done a phenomenal job of handling the new norm, so to speak, and whether it's back to the spring this past summer or as we restarted school here, the older guys have done a phenomenal job with their young guys, and the young guys have jumped right in.
Yeah, it looks like a great mix. We'll get into more of the current events with basketball this season, but I know, Coach, we want to recognize some folks who are really allowing us to have this event tonight. As I said at the top, we all look forward to the day when the time is right, we can all be together again at the Kohl Center. But we want to recognize a lot of great sponsors who have helped put on this and so many events on through the years.
Yes, a huge shout out to all of our sponsors and everybody out there watching. Obviously, you can see the names listed here as we have a couple slides of sponsors, but this could not be possible without you. Obviously, our booster club is one of a kind. And I'd also like to encourage, for those that are out there watching that are not members, a great opportunity to join our booster club. Obviously, this virtual event is kind of in combination replacing 2 events we have with our steak fry and also the tip-off that we have typically at the end of October. So huge shout out to our sponsors. Thank you. We'll definitely look forward to seeing all those people, hopefully in the near future in person. But in the meantime, continue to stay well.
Well said. I know the other thing that we're improvising with are the coaches normally at the events, the tip-off, the steak fry. We get to see your assistants, your staff, and their families. But we certainly want to recognize that group because it's one heck of a group you have here.
It is. You definitely don't. You mentioned Big Ten Coach of the Year, but it was the Big Ten Staff of the Year, because that doesn't happen without it's a team effort. Obviously, my name gets the head coach title by it, but the influence that our assistant coaching staff has and the rest of our staff in our office is immense. So I'm just proud to be associated with those guys, and we'll get a chance to get a catch up. And my wife Michelle is actually going to join us here. She's been kind of hanging on the side.
Hi, everybody. Sure, miss everybody.
So, like I said, we've been doing a lot of these Zoom calls virtually, or Zoom meetings, but looking forward to giving you a little update on our guys and on our coaching staff. First of all, I'll give you an update on our 3 kids. Our oldest, Mackenzie, is a sophomore now in college, and she's actually doing this semester here virtually with us at home. Isaac is a senior at Oregon High School, who's also into his senior year virtually, and in high hopes of having some semblance of a winter sports season with basketball and hopefully baseball. And then our youngest, Peyton, is a 7th grader in the Oregon School District, and also doing this year virtually, or at least this first semester for sure. So all are doing well, all are healthy, all are probably tired of mom and dad in the house every single day, but making the most of this situation.
That's outstanding. That is outstanding. Let's check out the video, Greg.
The Krabanoff family. Yes. Obviously, Joe and his wife, Sarah. And then we have JoJo, who's now in 2nd grade. Tristan, who is in 1st grade. Anetta, who's in 4K, who's actually on Joe's lap. And then Eliza, who turns 3 today. Happy birthday, Eliza. And that's the Krabanoff family. I know keeping Joe and Sarah extremely, extremely, extremely busy, but it's been one of the silver linings, I think, in the pandemic and the quarantine, is that our assistant coaches have been able to spend a lot of time with their families at home, and I know they appreciate it. And the Krabanoffs, like I said, have a house full. All right, then we have Dean and Sarah Oliver, and their oldest, Isaiah, is a 7th grader in the Middleton district and also going virtual right now. And then their youngest, their 2nd child, Ella, is in 4th grade. And that's the Oliver family. And then the Tucker family, Orlando and Crystal. And their oldest, Amir, is in 5th grade. And Isaiah, he runs the show. He owns that household, as you can tell by the look on his face. He's 3 and he's in pre-K. And then Ari is the newest one there in Crystal's arms. Joined us this past summer. He's 4 months old right now. And like I said, Orlando and Crystal also, they've had to switch from man-to-man to zone. Once you get to 3, you can't cover them all individually. So you got to kind of play the middle, so to speak.
That is just tremendous. That is great. It's a heck of a staff. I know, Coach, people, they do ask, with Coach Moore, what can you tell us how Coach is doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Moore has continued to try to make progress. He's still in the facility, and there's Coach Moore and his lovely family. So we're, obviously with the pandemic, it's put a kind of a restrictions on access to Coach Moore. But we're able to get updates quite often, and he's continuing to make slow progress and stepping in the right direction every day. So, and then his son Jarrell right now is a 9th grader in the Middleton district, and he also is off to his freshman year doing it virtually.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate the update. You're going through the slides and you're showing the Krabanoff family. There's not a quiet moment in that household, right?
No.
And it's impossible.
And there's not in the Tucker family either, because every time I talk to Orlando on the phone, it's one of the 3 that are trying to dominate the voice in the background. So yeah, there's Michelle and I have lived those days. Our kids are older now, so we kind of sit back and chuckle and laugh and go, yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah, we talk about that. Like, wow, look at us. Now we're the older kids and we get to watch all these younger families. It's so fun.
Michelle, everybody's hanging in there in the Guard household.
Yes, everyone is hanging in here. Not ideal with all the virtual schooling, but we are doing our best and we're rolling along from day to day. So
I understand.
all is well.
Yep. We're all getting a level of Zoom fatigue, but at some
yes.
at some point this will end. So
that's right.
Appreciate the updates and the slides of the families, because it really is, Greg. You've said it for years. Coach Ryan has said it for years. It is the Wisconsin basketball family, right? It might sound trite, but people who know this program know that it's real. Correct?
Absolutely. And I think this past year, what we've watched, and that's as good a testament as one big family as you can ever come upon.
Let us now turn our attention to this season. I know, Greg, you were kind of touching on it a few minutes ago, but now that you've had, 9 practices in the books. I know Coach Chris with football, he says at some point it has to start looking like football. And with all the protocols and the restrictions that you had, I'll still throw it out there. Is it starting to look like basketball now, what your guys are going through in camp?
It is. You know, I think the one thing that's very advantageous is we have a lot of older guys. As you've seen, you know, in the intros, there was a lot of seniors. So that experience, I think, allowed me and gave me a level of comfort to leave them home longer than normal in the summer, just based on, you know, what we weren't going to be able to do here. And then also knowing that we had a bigger upperclassmen group, we wanted a bigger freshman group. And that was by design, because I wanted them learning under their leadership. I knew how good their leadership was going to be. It obviously came to fruition at the end of last year. You don't win a championship without a great culture and without leaders in that locker room that are about the right things and saying and doing the right things for the greater good of the whole group every day. And that group of now seniors have set that bar and have really held the traditions and you know, excellence of the Wisconsin program, of classes that have gone before them that have won championships. And, you know, they have been great role models to kind of take those younger guys under their wing. So, you know, it's like I mentioned earlier, they want me to turn them loose 5-on-5 every day, all day. But we were following pretty much the normal practice plan. There's, you know, I think we spent a major part of the fall really conditioning harder than normal, because we couldn't do as much basketball specific things. And also knowing that what's coming, there's likely some pretty stiff competition in deep water coming early based on how our schedule is kind of formatting and what could happen. So I wanted to spend a lot of time on conditioning, and our guys did a good job of attacking that. And now we're pretty much in a normal routine with practice, really, in terms of I get 25 years of practice plans sitting off to my right here in my house, in my office. So other than not having the close scrimmage, and not having the exhibition game to kind of sprinkle in there, there'll be a lot of closed red-white games coming over the next few weeks. We'll have a record number of red-white games in the next 2-3 weeks.
And I would imagine they are going to be rather competitive. You've got some guys who know what they're doing out there.
Yeah, we do. And we have some very talented freshmen. So we kind of mix it up. We've put young and old together and kind of scrabbled it up and let them go at it.
You mentioned the word schedule. I promised myself I was going to wait until 7:25, and what do you know? It's 7:25. The calendar says teams can play starting November 25th. That's the easy part, I guess, picking a date. And the hard part has been trying to line up the schedules. Can you give us an update on the process of that? How you've been attempting to put a schedule together here?
Well, I think a lot of it is not within our direct hands or in our direct hands. A lot of it's in terms of what we're seeing unfold nationally, in terms of different events that are not going to happen now. Also, what's changing in terms of maybe recommendations or guidelines nationally from a testing protocol. And then also our league has done the best job of putting together a testing program and the ability to walk this forward as safe as possible for our student athletes. And nobody has better testing and better protocols than the Big Ten. And I think the people that we've had here, our trainer, Henry Perez-Guerrero, our doctors, our Mike Mull, our director of sports medicine, have done a phenomenal job trying to navigate, a pandemic, really, is what we're obviously trying to do. So we're scheduled we can open November 25th. We're hoping that's what continues to come into play. We're not ready to make that public yet, but Like I said, just working with our league. I'm on calls twice a week with our head coaches in the Big Ten, and we're talking through all scenarios, testing, travel, how do you handle officials? I mean, you name it. We could go on all night on everything. We get into on those calls. But it gives you, I tell you what, when you step back, it gives you an appreciation for what really goes into an event and all the people involved and all the things that you have to double and triple check on the safety protocols that you take for granted when things are running normally.
I know you've always been a believer in a team that let a team get old in a college sense. Maybe in a year like this, that's more important than ever. I know you were touching on it a few minutes ago with everything that this group had to go through. But you obviously have a big freshman class, but you've got a big returning class, and maybe that can help with the flexibility that you're probably going to have this season, right? You got to pretty much.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's a huge. I think it's already been an advantage because our guys have seen so much, been through so much. They don't have a panic button. They just understand we control the controllables, to steal one from my buddy Coach Chris, and just make the most of the situation you have, and knowing too. Hey, I told him a couple of weeks ago, all hands are on deck. Now the NCAA put forth the ability to have all the winter sport athletes get their year back if they want it. So really, as I told them, everybody's redshirting and nobody's redshirting because everybody be ready. Make sure your jersey's on underneath your warm up because you never know who's going in and when. And obviously we'll continue to work that all out over the coming weeks of rotation and those type of things. But that's one thing that I don't have to worry about redshirting or who's going to redshirt, because they're all going to play, because they can all have the choice to have a year back if they want it down the road.
It was interesting you say that, because I was talking with Coach Chris even in the last couple of weeks. I mean, every sport you always tell guys to be ready, but in a year like this, more than ever. Like no such thing as getting lost on a depth chart, right?
No, and it can things can happen at any moment. Whether it's physical injuries or obviously everything we're dealing with COVID. It's really everybody better be paying attention. That everybody's one play away from being in there. So our guys have done a good job of taking that message to heart and really preparing well.
They say you should never assume things, but I guess if we're going to break that rule, and I know you are focused on the Badgers 24/7, but if we're to assume anything about the Big Ten, it's going to be ridiculously difficult again, like last year. As you would say, probably another season of no get well games in this league, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Obviously we got probably three of us in the top 5, top 10 in the country preseason. I mean, preseason rankings are what they are. They last until your first game. But us, Illinois, Iowa have a lot of people back. I think that's the big reason why all three of us, we return the lion's share of who played on our teams last year. Obviously Michigan State will be very good. Josh Langford's back now off injury, and then some other guys have added to the mix, and some guys have grown up a little bit. I think Purdue will be better. Indiana will be better. I think Minnesota's got a lot of transfers. Nebraska will be better. A lot of transfers there, a lot of new faces. So you go across the league, you're right. There are no get well games, and night in and night out. And there's going to be so much, things can change. Like I said, you just got to be ready for so much unpredictability in terms of cancellations of games, postponements of games, different people being out, being back in. I mean, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. So get ready when we do get to league play, whenever that happens. Get ready for a wild ride, because it's going to be, exciting to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. Buckle up as the line goes. We want to bring in some of the guys here. We do have some players we would love for you to hear from. It's a good group. I think you already know that, but I want to bring in Aleem Ford, one of the vets. I know we got Micah standing by, Tyler Wahl, Johnny Davis, but we'll start with Aleem. How you doing, Aleem?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for doing this. Hey, before we get into basketball questions, I want to ask you a non-basketball question, because I know you were an integral part last month of a student athlete, a peaceful march on campus to try to promote social justice, and you were one of the leaders there. What did that day mean to you?
It meant a lot to me, really. Just being able to get out there and for all of us to come together and use our voice. And coincidentally, it did end up with me having the microphone in my hand and kind of leading it, which it wasn't the plan, but for me to be able to do that, I think Coach Gard even talked to me about that. Years ago, I wouldn't have done that. So just seeing the growth for myself personally was huge for myself. But other than that, just having everyone come together and use their voices all together was huge.
Even your good friend Dimitri Trice told me he was surprised to see you out there leading the way, because we know on the outside we know you as a more reserved guy. So it seems like he surprised even your best friends there, Lee.
Right.
Well, good for you. I know you made a lot of people very proud, you and your fellow student athletes and coaches that day. Let us segue into basketball and the year that you had. It seemed like as the year moved on, you got better and better. You had a terrific month of February. This team doesn't win a piece of the championship without you. From your perspective, tell us about your growth as a player when you first stepped on campus here to where you are now.
I mean, the biggest change initially was just getting stronger, and then from that point on was just confidence and getting more comfortable. And I mean, during the last few seasons, as I got more comfortable and more confident, that's when my play was a lot better. So, I mean, the biggest thing would just be confidence and just believing in your game, and then just going out there and leaving 110%. Because if you go out there and give that 110%, then you can look back and know that you gave it your all.
I know last year at an event like this, when we were all in person, I think Patrick Herb asked some of your teammates, who's a guy to watch? Who's like the pick to click, or however you want to put it? And your teammates pointed the finger at you, saying that you're the guy to watch. And they were right. They turned out to be very, very accurate. So now I want to turn this around. I want to ask you, as one of the elders, so to speak, of the team, who's someone the rest of us should be watching, ready to make a jump?
I'd say Tyler WAHL. He had his flashes last season. He's a great defender. He's versatile. He can do a lot, but I can tell he really worked this summer with his body and just overall with his game, his confidence and everything. And I'm really excited to see what he has for us this upcoming season and then for the remainder of his years.
That's a fun thought, because he's not afraid. He wasn't afraid to mix it up last year, right? So now there's just more of them to mix it up this year. Last one here for you, Aleem. I know there's been so much uncertainty, and now that you guys are able to get on the floor, as much as you have appreciated everything, the opportunity to play, is it even more so now, just given everything that you guys have gone through to get to this point where you're preparing for a season?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, at first we're just excited to get back and be with each other, get out there and compete. And then I know we're all excited to get out there and play, get back on the Kohl Center floor, get back into some games. So I know we're all hungry, and we have a even bigger chip on our shoulder, I'd say, to get back and try to continue what we had going for us last season.
Well, I know we can't wait to watch you and your teammates play. Aleem, appreciate your time, man. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Good luck. Aleem Ford, one of the vets of this team. Let's bring in another guy. We'll call him a vet. He got to play most of the season, finally, from Mentor, Ohio. We welcome in Micah Potter. Micah, how are you?
Good. How are you, Matt?
Good, man. How about those Cleveland Browns? You're a Browns fan, right?
Oh yeah, big time. We lost the key piece yesterday, so that was tough in Odell. But Baker looked really good, so I was excited.
Your guy threw the big pass when he needed to. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good for you. Well, as I think we all know, but we'll remind those who need the memory refresher, you had to wait 644 days, and even you're introing yourself here tonight. We saw your video. You're looking forward to playing an entire season. We're looking forward to watching you an entire season. But let's go back, Micah, when you were finally allowed to play. How long did it take you before, and now looking back, how long did it take you to really feel like you had a grip of how Coach Gard and his staff wanted things done at both ends of the floor?
Yeah. Well, I'd say the big thing for me was offensively, I'd say the Penn State game. Obviously, that was kind of a breakout game for me offensively. Defensively, honestly, I would say like each game I got better and I got more comfortable. Obviously, there's lots of different, schemes or whatever you want to call them, to kind of get adjusted and going from different systems. Because at Ohio State, we had a lot of different rules compared to Wisconsin. So just breaking those old habits and developing the new ones here at Wisconsin. Every single day, it got easier and it got better. But for me personally, the biggest game where I really thought I got comfortable was the Penn State game.
Yeah, that was a heck of a performance you had that day. What do you see? This is a big freshman class, as we've talked about. What do you see from those young guys?
The biggest thing is they all like to work hard. There's not a lazy guy in the group, which is really, with having as much, older guys as we do, being able to see them work hard and like even in the summer, right? So when I was one of the only guys that came back in the summer, from the get go, just being able to see how hard they work. They're all really good listeners. They want to be coached. No big egos. They just want to play and play hard. So really, with guys coming in, that's really all you can ask for. Guys who want to learn and want to get better, and guys who want to play hard.
I'm kind of going around the room here. I asked Aleem who's a player to watch, and he said Tyler WAHL. This time last year, guys were saying Aleem, so I wanted him to have a chance to maybe turn it around. Is it Tyler for you? If I'm going to say, is there one guy we should be watching this year? Who would that be?
First one that came to my mind when you asked Aleem that question was Tyler. I know I had spoken previously about Tyler in an earlier interview with the media, but yeah, I would say Tyler. I mean, just with how he changed his body, he got bigger, he got stronger. I talked about his shot. He's shooting the ball a lot more confidently, which obviously, last year it always looked good, but just I don't think his confidence was quite there yet with his 3-point shot. This year he looks really good at different times when we've played, and obviously early in practice now, seeing it go in and see it going in consistently has been huge for him. And obviously, as Aleem said, he's very versatile defensively. His handle's very good, so I'd say it's Tyler.
Well, I know for you, as Nate reminded us, you got engaged. I know, which congratulations, by the way, to your fiance. In terms of keeping yourself in condition, getting stronger during quarantine, and then just the weeks and months leading up to basketball camp, how much of a challenge was that for you? How good do you feel right now?
A lot better than last year at this point, because obviously last year there was so much uncertainty whether I was going to play or not. But the biggest thing I focused on, and really from last year coming into this year, was my conditioning and like making sure I was in better shape. Obviously, it was so hard last year because I wasn't really going to play, and we didn't know I was going to play. So then repetitions and practice weren't as consistent, and just all that kind of stuff. And then obviously I had to kind of get adjusted, with the team and the team with me, from a chemistry standpoint. So it just took a while for me to really get, heavily involved into the mix. So the biggest thing for me was just making sure that I was ready, and Coach Gard mentioned how we conditioned harder this year than we did last year, making sure that I was, so to speak, leading the pack. I wanted to make sure I was pushing myself as hard as I could. I really focused on my diet this off season. I just, from the beginning of the summer to now, I put on about 12 pounds of lean body mass and lost, about 3% body fat. So I put on a lot of good weight and, changed my body composition, and I'm still, dieting. So it's like, I'm trying to improve that even more. But yeah, the biggest thing is just making sure I'm in the best shape I can possibly be, because there are a lot of guys who play really hard. I want to make sure I can stay on the floor for longer periods of time.
Last question for you, Micah, going back to last March 7th, everything you went through, you ended up playing 21 games. Badgers won 16 of those. When you walked off the floor in Bloomington, and maybe better yet, when you walked onto the plane with the trophy, put that into words, what that meant to you.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know, Matt, it's tough because ever since I got to college, whether it be at Ohio State or here, I've always wanted to win a Big Ten championship. That's been the main goal of mine, honestly, since I've been in college, and just being able to finally achieve it after all the adversity that, not only I went through, but the entire team went through last year, and being able to hold the trophy and then be able to come back and see all the fans and the little parade we had, back at Kohl Center after we landed back in Madison after the game in Bloomington. Like, everything about that day was just awesome. You know, we fought back. We were down against Indiana. We fought back and ended up winning at the end. And then I got to celebrate in the locker room, got to see the coaches dance for the first time in my life, which was a lot of fun. And then obviously the trophy got brought in afterward. But no, it was unbelievable. The fulfillment that we got to feel from winning the Big Ten that last year after all we had gone through. Personally, obviously with me, you know, with all the stuff I had gone through after leaving and then having to sit out longer and all that kind of stuff. It was one of the most unbelievable feelings I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah, it was so much fun to watch. Micah, we appreciate your time. Best of luck to you. We look forward to watching you play.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Looking forward to it.
All right, Micah Potter. Let's go to one of the guys, apparently the people's choice as the player to watch this year out of Lakeville, Minnesota. Hello, Tyler Wahl. How you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. Thank you for doing this. Well, it seems like you're the teammates' pick, at least a couple of them, as a guy to watch. And they've mentioned there's more of you this year. You got a little stronger. Tell us about that and how that is translating on the basketball floor for you.
Yeah, for sure. Last year, getting pushed around, obviously in the Big Ten, being a little slimmer than most guys and being a freshman, it took a lot of my body. So getting sent home with COVID and everything, I kind of invested a lot of time into my body and putting on some weight and muscle. And it has really translated onto the court. I've been able to kind of hold my own and maybe put out a little bit more force than usual.
Yeah, you got into it. You dove in, right? Once quarantine lifted and you were able to get to a gym near your hometown, it sounded like you just about lived there, right?
Yeah, I'd go there probably every day of the week, and they had a great plan for me. I've been going there since I was a sophomore in high school, and I just feel really comfortable, and they've done a great job with me. Great people there.
And in addition to the weight room work, Tyler, I understand you shot the ball, I don't know, a couple million times. It sounds like you're feeling better. I mean, we know what you can do in the defensive end. Certainly, there were a lot of standout moments. What you did at Ohio State in your win down there in Columbus, you get 3 steals among other things. But you getting more confidence on the offensive end too.
For sure, that was kind of a part that I wouldn't say lacking, but a little bit less confident in last year. And just putting in that off-season work and getting shots up has really helped me out a lot.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'll throw it out anyway. What's the best piece of advice now that you're a sophomore and you got a big freshman class? What was one of the first things you told those guys to kind of watch for? Here's what you can expect as you make the jump now to the Big Ten.
Yeah, everybody in the Big Ten is just faster and stronger, and I told them that you just have to live in the moment and take each day for what it's worth.
I know there was a story here over the weekend about the conditioning that Coach Gard and his guys had you go through. Instead of the hill, you had the stadium steps. And I'm understanding that wasn't a whole lot of fun. There's a purpose behind it, but what was that like for you?
It was hard. It was very hard to run up those steps, however many times we ran up them. But I would say it was good for our team chemistry because we were all in there struggling together, and I would say it built us closer together.
Okay, I want to give you a chance for equal time because some of the guys are saying you're a player to watch, so I want to let you turn it around now. Who besides yourself would be someone that fans can look forward to maybe making a jump here this season?
A returner from last year, I would say, is Trevor Anderson. He's put some work into his body, and he's feeling healthy again. So I'd look out for Trev.
Nice. You guys giving him grief? The Cowboys are kind of struggling. I know he's really an obnoxious Cowboys fan. So hopefully you're kind of giving it to him here, aren't you, a little bit?
Oh yeah, I am. They're not doing too hot, and I can't really speak for the Vikings, but
yeah, well, true. That's true. But
can always dish it out.
You guys really, it is a family, right? And I would imagine you guys have helped bring these freshmen in, much like the guys did for you last year, correct? I mean, it is one family.
Yeah, for sure. It's that culture that Coach Gard always talks about. It's the great guys in the locker room, and it's not just the great guys on the court, but it's just great guys all around.
All right, Tyler, we appreciate your time. We look forward to watching you play.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Tyler Wahl out of Lakeville, Minnesota. We've been talking about the freshman class folks, and it is very, very highly regarded. And representing the freshman class here tonight for our event out of La Crosse, Wisconsin's own Johnny Davis. Johnny, come on stage.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good, Johnny. Thanks for doing this. Mr. Basketball, state of Wisconsin, just a great high school career. Johnny, what does it mean for you as a guy from Wisconsin to be playing now at the University of Wisconsin?
I mean, it's everything I could have hoped for, to be close to my family and play alongside my twin brother here in my home state. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
What's it been like? These older guys, they seem like they've taken you and your fellow freshmen in really well. But what's it been like? What's some advice maybe you've been getting from those guys along the way?
I mean, they just have a lot of experience, with all the seniors we have. They've been through it, for at least 4 years. Just any advice is all good advice from those guys.
Part of the, I think one of the reasons, one of the many that coaches were attracted to you is that you can play multiple positions, or certainly you've done that, right, in your basketball career. Is that something you felt pretty good about, for a while now? I mean, you can do a lot of different things on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I felt good about it in high school, but I think it will be a lot more difficult in college, considering the fact that guys are, 6'10", 6'11", sometimes 7 feet. In high school, I was used to being one of the bigger guys on the floor, but it's going to take a lot more muscle to be able to hang out with those guys down low.
There are guys that when they make that transition into college, where there's that welcome to the Big Ten moment. It could be in a game. We'll circle back later on that topic. But even up till now, Johnny, has there been a moment in practice, conditioning, where it's like, oh, okay, I'm not in high school anymore. I'm in the Big Ten Conference.
I'd probably say the first practice. Nothing special really happened. It was just really exciting. A little bit nerve-wracking to finally start our first practice. But, I mean, it's just a lot different than being in high school. The guys are a lot more physical, smarter, stronger. Yeah, and I'm excited to get working.
I know you're a high school quarterback. You have a couple other guys, right? Dimitri Trice, Brad Davison. Game's on the line. It's 4th down, win or lose on one play. Who's the best quarterback among you three?
I'm going with myself.
Best arm? Are you multi-purpose? I know you ran for a lot too. I know you threw for a ton.
Yeah, after my brother had a season-ending injury, I didn't really have anybody else to go to, so I just relied on my legs a lot.
And now that Jordan's healthy, if he had a 9 route, he'd be your guy, right? He'd be
for
the guy without it. So it sounds like you're enjoying it. Obviously everybody's going through a lot, but being a Badger, that means a lot to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And the older guys are really good at guiding us, making us really uncomfortable, and sometimes making us uncomfortable to push us and watch us grow and succeed.
All right, Jonathan, we appreciate your time. Again, welcome to the University of Wisconsin basketball team. We look forward to watching you play.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, take care. Best to your brother Jordan too as well. Probably just off camera, right? So.
Yeah, he's right here.
All right, take care. Appreciate it, Jonathan. Yep. All right, we thank all the guys, Aline, Micah, Tyler, and Johnny for joining us here. Just giving you a little sneak peek as we bring Coach Gard back in. I think that's part of the fun of this event. We get to talk about basketball, but just for everybody to kind of just get to hear from the guys, right? And it seems like you have not just talented players, Greg, but you always talk about the fit. You have guys who fit, don't you?
Yeah, we do, man. It's interesting. I don't pay a lot of attention to their interviews, and we haven't done many because obviously we've been very restricted in access, and I think we've had 1 or 2 Zoom days with media. But to hear the guys use some of the verbiage and vocabulary and terminology that the coaches talk about and the older guys talk about, and to talk about and to hear the older guys say that they're trying to help the younger guys and vice versa, that the younger guys are getting helped by the older guys. That that tells me that the people we have in that locker room are about the right things. And you mentioned fit. I mean, it's a long description to fit, but we're very fortunate in terms of the people that have chosen to come here, and that's why we've been able to sustain this success. It's been the culture and the people in those uniforms that have done it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think, with everything that we're going through in our world right now, when you guys are on the floor, when you and your staff are teaching and those guys are doing their thing, that's the relief, right? That's when everybody can just go have some fun and let it rip a little bit.
Yeah. And I don't think any day was more exciting than the first day we got them back at the end of the summer. I mean, I know there's only 7 or 8 or 9 of them in there, but just to see a group of guys and the ball flying around and squeaking, and I don't think I made one comment about any mistake or missed shot or anything. I was just smiling just to see them all back in the gym. It was good to been a long time without them, I tell you that. So that when you're removed from something like that, like we have happened from March to the end of July, the level of appreciation grows immensely.
You have a lot of talented players. I meant to ask you this back after the coaches' introductions. Does Coach Crabb, Coach Tuck, do they have to get in there? I know Crabb coming off the injury and all that, but I would imagine if need be, he's ready to go.
Yeah, I think maybe in very limited. I think he's understanding maybe Father Time is a little closer than what he thinks he is. Lando's been a little more, Lando's towed the line a little bit. He's not cross the line. He shadows right there, but he's not across the line. He's here and there in a drill, but nothing like they were a year ago. And hopefully now, obviously with some depths, and maybe they'll jump in. We haven't gotten into scout team stuff. We have a new volunteer GA, Cole Gentry, who actually played at Wright State for Coach Nagy, who Joe worked with at South Dakota State, played a little bit at South Dakota State too, and then transferred when Scott Nagy took the job. So he's joined us here as a volunteer GA. So he's hopped in a little bit here and there, and so it's been interesting. Yeah, when a guy that's Cole right out of college played a year ago, he's still in shape. That was the first thing I asked him first day he got here. You're still in shape? And he said, yeah, he was. So he's finding out though the Big Ten there's the lumber's a little bit bigger than it was in the Horizon League.
No doubt.
But no, all guys are doing good, and all the coaching staff is healthy, and they need to stay that way.
That's good. So Coach Oliver has not been talked out of retirement.
No, he's the wise one. He's the oldest, and I think he's the oldest, which it proves in his wisdom is showing that he's gone down the torn Achilles road, and he doesn't want to repeat it.
Yeah, he did. That's right. He did live that in his pro days. So I know, Coach, you want to give you the floor here. It's a different kind of event here tonight. But we really appreciate everybody taking part. I just want to give you that opportunity to.
Yeah. I definitely want to thank all the people that have tuned in tonight, and thank all of our fans for your amazing support down the stretch last year and the run to the title, and all the messages and notes and everything that we got and received, and obviously all the support going through the summer and the fall and into this season. I don't know what our game environment's going to look like, but we really appreciate all the support that the fans and specifically our booster club gives us. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a great time to jump in and join. I know we maybe do some virtual events through the year with the overtime club or things like that. We've still kind of putting plans together, but we really appreciate everything you guys do for us and all the support. I definitely want to thank AJ Van Handel, and he's working behind the scenes tonight, and his crew. A couple of our managers are all the technological advanced people that are making sure we don't screw this up, and if we bail us out of hard moments. But thanks to AJ for your hard work behind the scenes, and also to Laura Strang, who's our it really is the engine of the booster club and keeps it going and help put this event together. Really appreciate. I think Laura's watching behind the scenes as well. So thank you, Laura, for all you do. And like I said, thanks to all the fans and all the boosters out there joining us tonight, and look forward to, if we can't see you in person soon at the Kohl Center, tune into your TVs. You're going to love watching this team play. So cheer them on from your couches and your living rooms, and make sure everybody stays safe.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I can't wait, because an event like this, either now how we're doing it virtually or through the years of the Kohl Center, it just gets us all thinking about basketball again as fans of your program. And I can't wait to see your guys play as well. And I know I'm speaking for everybody who's tuning in. So for Coach and for Aline, Micah, Tyler, and Johnny, we thank you all for being here. We also we do want to encourage all of you watching, visit our online auction. There you see the information there at the bottom of the screen. And we look forward to it. We definitely, Coach, give Michelle our best. I didn't mean to, to give her the wave off there. She didn't have to leave, but the best to you and the family, and we're looking forward to watching your guys.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for having us on, Matt. Take care.
Everybody take care. Thanks so much for being here. We're looking forward to the season. Have a great night on Wisconsin.